us these guys are going around saying that they're the lost children of Israel, when we know that the children of Israel is scattered there in the land of Israel, and they're in the people of, I'm thinking of a group, the Filipinos, they're the Israelites, and then you got Israelites that live in the Himalaya mountains. You know, that's the one guy, the naked prophet. He did a thing, and I'm looking at, he said, we're going to break down the 12 tribes of Israel, right? Man, he didn't come nowhere near the 12. He was all up in the Himalayan mountains. He was in Cambodia. Yeah, that's the tribe of Benjamin. I said, this is some old bullshit, man. I remember when that came out, and I wanted to go down there. That's at A&E, but you can't find it. I wanted to go down there and confront that guy, spiritually, of course, about this thing, you know? The naked prophet. What the hell? Hey, pull him up, man. Let me see what he's been doing with his life. Yeah, the naked prophet. And people are actually the Cambodians, Benjaminites, and the people of Nepal. That's Gad. Get the hell out of here, man. The hell out of here. It says, 29th verse, for from the top of the rocks I see him, and from the hills I behold him. Lo, the people Israel shall dwell alone, and shall not be reckoned among the nations. So they're not recognizing us, man. As a matter of fact, they set up certain guys that are scholars and Bible historians telling you who the tribes of Israel are, and that's BS. It says, 10th verse, who can count the dust of Jacob and the number of the fourth part of Israel? And one of the reasons why the king of Moab wanted them cursed, because when they came out of Egypt, they were so big that everybody in that region, that area, knew about them. There had to be millions of people. Because when you go to Deuteronomy, the 2nd chapter, it said that when they walked on the top of that cliff where Esau was, it said that Esau was afraid of them. Somebody get that and hold that on deck. It says, who can count the dust? Y'all got it? Who can count the dust of Jacob and the number of the fourth part of Israel? Meaning if you 25% of Israel, you can't even count them. They're so big that they're among every nation. You got Israel, like we said earlier in the show. You got Israelites. You know how many millions of Israelites is living down there in Cambodia? Well, maybe the dude was right. The Cambodians, you might be right. You know? Hey, down there in Cambodia, Mongolia, Russia, China, Japan. And you got this one guy, he was a star baseball player, and you can clearly see he looked like everybody's black uncle from down south, but he had Moabite eyes or Japanese eyes. And this guy was a great baseball star, but you can clearly see the man was dark, but he looked like a black Japanese. Well, he was an Israelite, okay? It says, who can count the dust of Jacob and the number of the fourth part of Israel? Let me, this is what he said, this is what Balaam said, because he saw the future of what Israel's going to do and what Israel's going to be. It said, let me die the death of the righteous. So Israel are the righteous, hence the sons of the righteous, or sons of God. It says, and let my last end be like his. It says at the end of this deal, I hope that I can wake up and be an Israelite, which he's not going to be. All right? It says, 11th verse, and Balak said unto Balaam, what hast thou done unto me? I took thee to curse mine enemies, and behold, thou hast blessed them all together. All right? Now I'm going to go from here to, you go ahead and read that.
Deuteronomy 2:1. Then we turned and took our journey into the wilderness by the way of the Red Sea, as the Lord spake unto me, and we compassed Mount Seir many days. And the Lord spake unto me, saying, you have compassed this mountain long enough, turn you northward. And command thou the people, saying, You are to pass through the coast of your brethren, the children of Esau, which dwell in Seir, and they shall be afraid of you. Take good heed unto yourselves, therefore, meddle not with them, for I will not give you of their land, no, not so much as a foot breadth, because I have given Mount Seir unto Esau for a possession.
Go ahead and read and break it down.
Come. All right, it says, Then we turned and took our journey into the wilderness by the way of the Red Sea, as the Lord spake unto me, and we compassed Mount Seir many days. And the Lord spake unto me, saying, You have compassed this mountain long enough, turn you northward, and command thou the people, saying, You are to pass through the coast of your brethren, the children of Esau, which dwell in Seir, and they shall be afraid of you. Take ye good heed unto yourself, therefore.
That's right. This is Numbers 24. I can read up 13. I can read up a couple. You know what? No. Let me go up a couple verses. Okay, it says Numbers 24, verse 10. It said, And Balak's anger was kindled against Balaam. And Balaam was the one that was paid by Balak, king of Moab, to curse Israel. And he smote his hands together. And Balak said unto Balaam, I called thee to curse mine enemies, and behold, thou hast altogether blessed them these 3 times. 11th verse. Therefore, now flee thou to thy place. I thought to promote thee unto great honor, but lo, Yahweh have kept thee back from honor. And now the word Yahweh there, the word Lord there is Yahweh. All right? 12th verse. And Balaam said unto Balak, Speak I not also to thy messengers which thou sentest unto me, saying, If Balak would give me his house full of silver and gold, I cannot go beyond the commandment of Yahweh. So let me go. So he knew that the name of the Most High was Yahweh. Because let me click on that. Yep, the word is Yahweh. So he had to said it. He knew his name. Okay, it says I could not go beyond the commandment of Yahweh to do either good or bad of my own mind, but what Yahweh saith, that will I speak. 14. And now, behold, I go unto my people, come hither, and I will advertise thee what this people shall do to thy people in the latter days. In the latter days is talking about, it hasn't happened yet. It's getting ready to happen. 15. And he took up his parable and said, Balaam, the son of Beor, have said, and the man whose eyes are open have said. What does it mean by the man whose eyes were open have said? Who opened his eyes? The Most High. What eyes is it talking about? His spiritual eyes. The Most High gave him a prophecy of what's going to happen a couple thousand years, almost 3,000 years in the future. Actually, about more than 3,000 years in the future. It says, he have said, which heard the words of the Most High, and knew the knowledge of, what? Wait a minute. And knew the knowledge of the Most High, which saw the vision. The Most High gave him a vision. Remember, he was a heathen. He was of another nation. How do we know that? When you go back to the 23rd chapter, he said, let me die the death of the righteous. Let me be like them in the latter days. At the end, it said, he have said, which heard the words of the Most High, or the gods, and knew the knowledge of the Most High, which saw the vision of the Almighty, Alashadya, falling into a trance but having his eyes open. 17. I shall see him, but not now. I shall behold him, but not nigh, meaning near. Not yet. It's going to be over 3,000 years in the future when this thing is going to come to pass. There shall come a star out of Jacob, that's Yahweh Shai, and it tells you that in Revelation, the 22nd chapter. Somebody want to get that and hold it on deck as well? Revelation, the 22nd chapter, I believe it's in. And a scepter shall rise out of Israel. Scepter meaning rulership. When you have a scepter in your hand, the other people around about you got to bow down to you and worship you. You got that?
Got it.
My man, Alizé? And shall smite the corners of Moab. What is the word? Let me look up the word smite.
You want me to read the scripture for you?
No, hold off on that. I want to look up the word smite. Let me look up the word smite. Okay, smite is from the Hebrew word makatazah. That's a good name, makatazah. Next brother need a name. Give him the name makatazah. And it means to smite through, shatter, wound severely, to shatter, shattering. Goes on to say, primitive root, to dash asunder, to crush, like Idak, smash, or violently plunge, figuratively, to subdue or destroy, smite, strike through, wound. So this is what Balaam said, man. And Balaam was nothing but another weatherman, just like us. Okay, where am I at? Okay, I'm going to read that again. 17. I shall see him, but not now. But then again, the Most High turns around when he sees this guy, the righteousness of Cornelius the Edomite. No, I was wrong about these Edomites. Yeah. Which says that if that's the case, that means the Most High ain't perfect. Yeah. That means the Most High is a liar. It says 17 verse again, Numbers 24:17, right? It says, I shall see him, but not now. I shall behold him, but not nigh, but not near. There shall come a star out of Jacob, which is Yahweh Shai, and a scepter shall rise out of Israel, and shall smite the corners of Moab, and destroy all the children of Seth. All right? Seth goes back to the third son of Adam. So those nations that came at it, because the nations came from Adam, then from Seth. That's where the line went from Adam to Seth, all right? The sons of Cain came from Cain, his son Cain. It says, and Edom shall be a possession. Seir also shall be a possession, and Seir is the place where Edom lived. So we're going to possess Edom. Seir also shall be a possession for his enemies, and Israel shall do valiantly. 19. Out of Jacob shall come he that shall have dominion, rulership, so you got to worship him, and shall destroy him that remaineth of the city. Ultimately, the city is talking about Babylon the Great. And when he looked upon Amalek, he took up, and this is talking about the so-called Jew, because he had Amaleks among Canaan, right? And this is how you know it's talking about this other group of Amalek. It says, he took up his parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever. What's the only nation that's going to perish forever? Esau. And y'all know who Esau is. It says, and he looked on the Kenites and took up his parable and said, strong is thy dwelling place, and thou puttest thy nest in a rock. Because before Esau was in Mount Seir, you had the Horites up there, which were Canaanites. So the first cave dwellers were Canaanites. 22, nevertheless the Kenites shall be wasted until Ashur shall carry thee away captive. And he took up his parable and said, alas, who shall live when the Most High doest this? And it says, and ships shall come from the coast of Chittim, and shall afflict Ashur, and shall afflict Eber, and he also shall perish forever. And Balaam rose up and went and returned to his place, and Balak also went his way. He's like, when we told him that, he wanted the detail. He got up and walked away, and then this guy got up and walked away. He said, I ain't got nothing to say to this guy no more,
This is Isaiah 33:1. Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou was not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. And when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. That sounds like some root stuff to me. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, and verse 16. Therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. You have something, Apostle Bar?
Yeah. The book of Ezekiel, the 25th chapter and the 12th verse. Thus saith the Lord, because that Edom have dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and have greatly offended and revenged himself upon them. Therefore, thus saith the Lord power, I will also stretch out mine hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it.
Ain't no group, no biblical group that that comes together and puts up videos talking about how to deal with the Israelites. You can't get around these scriptures.
That's right.
You cannot get around these scriptures. Remember, we are just spiritual weathermen. We're just giving you the weather.
That's it.
So why are you getting mad? All you got to do is just accept it. We had to accept it because Israel was jacking up the prophets and killing them, man.
That's right.
And nearly putting, like Jeremiah, they didn't put him to death, but they were attempting to put him to death. He was in a pit, man. And he was prophesying what was going to happen to Israel.
That's right.
And they got mad, man. So now I can see you Edomites get mad, but guess what? Just like we had to, Jeremiah 49, you know what I want?
Yeah,
okay. Hey, just like we had to drink of his cup, you got to drink of his cup. It's your turn, my man. You got to deal with it. Don't get mad at us. We're just spiritual, divine weathermen. That's all we are. Yeah. GMS, divine weathermen.
Yeah, the forecast is a lot of pain.
I predict pain.
We predict pain.
What's your prediction for the fight with Rocky Balboa? Pain.
Forecast is a lot of pain. Pain will fall like rain.
That's right. Jeremiah 49:12. For thus saith the Lord power, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken, and that's Israel. All you got to do is go back into history and see what happened to Israel. They said, surely they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken. So we drink, And art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? So just because you say you ain't going to pay, and just because you have these clowns that call themselves Israelites that say you're not going to pay, does that mean you're not going to pay?
Yeah,
Look, we drank it, Salaki Apostle.
No,
we drank of the cup. We the apple of the Most High's eye. We drank of that cup. Damn it, you gonna drink of it.
Yeah, just because some friendly neighborhood Israelite, buttered them up, they think that they are going to bypass the judgment.
It says, for thus saith the Lord, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken, and art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? Thou shalt not